Buried beneath the sands of Egypt lies the glittering tomb of a boy king, Tutankhamun, a name that echoes through history not for his reign, but for the mysteries that surrounded his life and his death. Among the golden treasures, archaeologists uncovered a darker truth. Tutankhamun had married his own sister. Why would the most powerful dynasty on earth embrace such a taboo? And what price did they pay for it? Tutankhamun, born around 1341 BCE, ascended the throne at just 9 years old. He belonged to the powerful 18th dynasty, a family that had ruled Egypt for nearly 2 centuries. But his family wasn't just powerful, they were complicated. His father, Akhenaten, had shattered tradition by worshipping one god, Aten, instead of Egypt's many deities. His reforms shook the kingdom and left young Tutankhamun to restore order when he became pharaoh. But ruling Egypt wasn't his only duty. He was expected to marry, and his bride would be none other than his half-sister, Ankhesenamun. To us today, sibling marriage feels shocking, but for ancient Egypt's royalty, it was a tradition. The pharaoh was considered divine, a living god on earth. And what better way to preserve that divine bloodline than by keeping it within the family? Brothers and sisters marrying wasn't scandal, it was strategy. By marrying Ankhesenamun, Tutankhamun wasn't breaking tradition, he was following it. The same practice had been carried out for generations by Egypt's rulers. But this obsession with pure blood carried deadly consequences. Modern science has uncovered the price the royal family paid for this tradition. DNA studies on Tutankhamun's mummy reveal he was the child of siblings. The results? A frail body plagued with genetic disorders. Tutankhamun had a club foot, a cleft palate, and weakened bones. He often needed a cane to walk. Archaeologists found over 130 canes in his tomb. At just 18 or 19 years old, the boy king's body gave in. Some scholars believe he suffered from malaria. Others point to a broken leg that never healed. But one thing is certain, the inbreeding that preserved his family's divinity also doomed his health. And what of his sister wife, Ankhesenamun? After Tutankhamun's sudden death, she was left a widow at just 21. Desperate to protect her throne, she wrote to a foreign king, the Hittite ruler Suppiluliuma, begging for one of his sons as a husband. But the plan failed. The prince sent to marry her was murdered on the way to Egypt. Soon after, Ankhesenamun vanished from history, her fate lost in the desert sands. Tutankhamun's reign was short, and his achievements as pharaoh were modest. But his story reveals a dynasty trapped by its own traditions. The golden treasures in his tomb dazzled the world, but behind the mask lay the consequences of obsession with purity and power. Sibling marriage may have secured Egypt's royal bloodline for centuries, but it also weakened it from within. The very tradition meant to make the pharaohs gods may have hastened their downfall. So when you hear the name Tutankhamun, remember, he wasn't just the boy king with a golden mask. He was the product of a dynasty's darkest tradition. A tradition that shows how even the most powerful empires are not immune to their own choices.